Good afternoon and welcome to Desi's Desires Live and the first episode of Women's Issues in America Today. There's many issues related to the porn industry that are affecting the lives of women everywhere. I decided this show would be a great place to talk about them and hear how they're affecting all of you. I spent a year and a half working as a performer in the porn industry not that long ago. What I learned while I was there, I'm going to share with you here in this series. I spent a lot of time researching and talking to experts about how porn is affecting our men, women, children, and our society as a whole. What I found is quite disturbing, and the fact that no one seems to know about these issues is the most disturbing of all. That's why I created this show. Americans need to be educated about porn and its effects on our family, our relationships, and each other. Porn is especially damaging to the women and girls in our country. It's training men to look at us as nothing more than sex objects. What's even worse is girls and women everywhere are responding to men by trying to be just that. Our girls are growing up to think they need to be a porn star to be a real woman. They are trying to be an unobtainable woman created by cameras and editing. They have no idea what a real woman is and what their role is in our country. We need to be educating our daughters about the realities of sex and what it feels like to be a real woman today. I grew up in the 60s and 70s when the sexual revolution was fought and women burned their bras declaring equality for all. As a woman growing up in this time, I thought this was great because I thought we'd finally be treated as equals. Women started entering the workforce, and the fight became about equal wages and the ability to be promoted. Women moved into professional careers, becoming doctors and lawyers and politicians, to name a few of the career paths they could choose now that we were all supposed to be equal. It seemed we were on a path to true equality between men and women. Then the 90s came along, and with it came internet porn. Internet porn changed Hollywood, and that was the beginning of the end of women being respected in our society. Now we find ourselves in 2010, and women's rights have gone backwards to a time we all fought so hard to change. Porn is devaluing women in so many ways, it's hard to know where to begin to bring awareness to the damages we are suffering. Boys and men are looking at us like body parts to be used instead of as people who are worth their respect, and what's worse is women are encouraging them. I've talked to some experts who work with young women and girls. They tell me there's a lot of pressure for these girls to have sex with boys to be accepted. That much isn't really that different from when I was growing up. But what porn has done to these expectations has put a twist in what a girl will do to get a boy to like her. Our kids are performing sex acts just like they see in porn. This is happening in junior highs and high schools across America today. They think this is what real sex is because no one is educating them with any different information. They are using porn as a form of sex education. It's the only information out there. This is forming and warping our children's sexuality at a very young age and an alarming pace. As a former porn star, I can tell you quite honestly, porn sex isn't real sex at all. It isn't even close to reality. That's the lie the porn industry is selling to us all. As young women, you need to respect your bodies and your mind. Trying to compete for boys by performing porn sex on them doesn't accomplish either one. As women, we can only gain a man's respect and love by only having sex with a man who really loves and respects us first. I'm not about preaching abstinence. It's not for me to say when someone is ready to have sex with someone else. But I know girls and young women are doing sex acts they're not comfortable with these days. They are having sex with boys who don't have any respect for them. This is causing a major problem in our country. We're cultivating a generation of young women who feel badly about themselves. If you think Hollywood has given women low self-esteem issues due to their persistence in promoting that all women must be thin and pretty and look like the model, just think how these girls feel when they are used and abused by some boy who tells them they can't compete with the porn stars they're watching in their porn videos. This is happening right now in neighborhoods across America. Girls are trying to deep throat and have hardcore sex like porn stars because the boys are watching porn and telling them it's what's normal and expected. When they can't handle the roughness of what these boys are doing to them, the boys call them lame and tell them they must not be real women. It's setting up these girls and women for a lifetime of low self-esteem. Boys expect these girls to be an unobtainable woman who is created by cameras and editing. This is just one way the porn is hurting us. It's damaging our children in a deep and dark way. Today I chose my topic of the discussion, Scott Brown's senatorial victory in Massachusetts after posing nude in Cosmo. It's not that he won the election that bothers me. I'm actually happy that Massachusetts is a progressive state that doesn't judge a person by their past. I don't even care that Senator Brown posed nude. It's not relevant to politics. What bothers me is the fact that you and I know if Scott was a woman with this past, she would have never made it to this race, much less had a chance to win it. Here we are in 2010, and we all know there's still a huge inequality between the sexes in America. What I would hope is that by Scott Brown winning a senatorial seat after posing nude, that this will set a precedence in our country that no one can be judged by their past anymore. I know, don't hold my breath. Women in our country are still held to a different standard than men are, and I'm here to say it's time this double standard became a past to us all. I, as a former porn star, live with this double standard right now. I get judged before people even meet me if they already know about my past. Girls in America are growing up doing many things that one day they will have to answer for. While a man wins a seat in our Senate after posing nude, we have women in every part of our nation losing jobs because of their past actions. We have several pageant winners over the years who have lost their crowns because of nude photos, party pictures that show they were just being human. We have women who have lost political opportunities because they were treated for depression or addictive behaviors in their past. We have a woman who last November lost disability benefits because she went out with friends to forget about her depression, just as her doctor had prescribed. We have women in prison serving lifelong sentences because they killed their abusive husbands, while men who kill their wives serve an average of 8 years for their crimes. It may be 2010, but we really haven't gotten very far. And what porn is doing to American men is telling them that once again, women are only here to please and serve them. As women, we need to take a stand, have respect for yourself, and demand that respect from others, especially men. All you're doing when you play the porn game is telling these men that's all you think you're worth. It goes back to the old saying, why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free? Women are worth so much more than just sex. We have to be the ones to show the world that we are more than being on this earth to pleasure a man sexually. We need to take every chance we can to fight for equality, and that won't come from giving them porn sex. It's evident in our world today as our level of equality moves backwards. As women, we need to stand together and take a stand for each other. Stop judging and backbiting and turning on each other. We tend to hurt each other over men more often than not. It's one more thing about porn that is hurting each and all of us. As we let men use our bodies and we compete against each other over men, what are we really telling the world about ourselves? That men are the prize and women are expendable?